Good morning to all of you. Uh, it's an honor and a privilege for me to present my company's case study. I represent an organization called Alok Industries Limited, which is a part of RIL, Reliance Industries Limited. We are into the textile division of the Reliance. And I was just watching the presentation of Airbus, which happens to be a very high-tech and a very capital-intensive company, while I'm here representing an organization which is a very primitive, which is from the textiles, one of the first, say, industries in the country, and at the same time, it is highly labor-intensive. So we are shifting gears from, say, high-tech, capital-intensive industry to a very, very primitive, labor-intensive sector. So Alok Industries is the company which started off in 1986. And thereafter, in 2000, if you would have followed, it was taken over by Reliance Industries Limited, which wanted to, say, scale up their textile division. And here we are with our presentation. The topic, you can go back. The topic that we wanted to share is creating a psychological contract of employee commitment and peer-to-peer recognition to achieve an extraordinary time-bound result of team working. Here I am representing my company to share a very unique thing which happened with us just a month back, wherein we were actually working with a set of people. We have a large number of people working with us, 27,000 people that I'm, say, in charge of. So by the way, I'm the CHRO of the company. I'm represented by also another gentleman who is the head of talent acquisition. His name is Bashir Ansari. I've got another lady sitting there, Anita. So she also is in my team. So we are actually representing as a team and also sharing this topic of how unique we had this experience of working with a larger team in our organization. So it's a case study of innovative HR practices. Next, the project was Project Tiranga. You must have all, say, in the 13th to 15th of August, must have had the small flags in your individual residences. You must have put it. That's what's the call of the nation. But behind that, while those flags reached your home, you never knew that, say, who were the manufacturers of those flags. And by the way, we were one of the companies, very few of them, who had manufactured the flags for the entire nation. So this is the project Tiranga, which our company took the challenge of the Government of India, of the Ministry of Textile, which they decided to hand it over to very few companies. And it was a very short notice within which we had to actually manufacture these flags for the entire nation. So this is the project of Project Tiranga. So the content of this presentation is, we will skip the company's presentation or introduction, though I have already done it. Bashir, you can just go to the next. By the way, this particular organization, some facts you should know, that say, as I said, 1986 was the inception, but as of now, it's one of the largest integrated textile companies in the country. We have the products of fiber, yarn, processed fabric, sheeting, anything that you can talk about, from, say, processing of the cotton to the end product of garments. So everything we sell in between. The value chain is not only of cotton, but also of polyester. So we are one of the largest manufacturers of polyester in the world. So we happen to be processing the polyesters and coming up with the garments of polyesters. So we have the manufacturing plants in Silvassa and Vapi. These are the two locations where we are having all the manufacturing units. We do have a workforce of around, say, now 27,000. Permanent staff, 3,000 odd people, and the permanent workers are close to 12,000, and rest all are contractual workers. So we have the financial results which are there. It's almost a 10,000 crore cap company market cap, and we do have, say, around 8,000 crores as our annual turnover. Next. So this is the project, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We have all celebrated the 75 years of India's independence. And in that, the Government of India, as it always does this is a very unique style of the Modi government, is that they do plan, but they don't announce. And by the way, when they announced that, say, they will do this Har Ghar Tiranga, it was only a month before they decided for this. And as it was, with all kinds of demonetization, the way it came, you would have always seen that the Modi government comes with certain decisions which gives us a huge surprise. So this was also one of them. So Ministry of Textiles reached out to few companies across the country, the leading ones, and said that, say, you need to manufacture flags because we need to have this Har Ghar Tiranga from 13 to 15. Next. So what happened? We were one of the companies who got this invitation. We took up the challenge, and we decided to manufacture the flags. We were never into manufacturing flags. We don't have the infrastructure how to manufacture flags, but we decided to take that opportunity. So this was the cycle. We received from Government of India, Ministry of Textile. We had our sample flag sent to the Ministry of Textile, and then the government said that, say, can you do 1 crore? So we said that, say, we need to see, because there's only 10 days left. 10 days to manufacture these flags. So finally what happened is that there were orders which started flowing in from the various state governments, and also the private bodies were also there who wanted. And finally the traders also wanted that, say, they would also like to sell the flag. So this is how the cycle was. Next. We decided to go for the stage 2, which is the planning and capacity building. This is where it actually starts. Team building. So we thought of actually having 5 cross-functional teams, because this, the entire company won't be involved in, because our only garment division, which would have some kind of a knowledge of, say, how to stitch a flag, they would be putting entire effort. So it was the fabric, cutting, sewing, packing, dispatch. These were the 5 divisions which were set up, the cross-functional team divisions of made-ups and garments. We had divided our entire job into 39 sub-teams of 28 members each, and we thought that, say, this entire project, we will involve 1,000-odd people. We will have 56 supervisors and around, say, 15-odd HR personnel. So HR had a huge role to play in this, because that's where the role of the all kind of innovativeness in the team building actually starts. So we had to source our fabric. So those things were done by our other team members. So the sourcing was done. We can't manufacture the fabric. We had to source it. So that's where I think the India's scale and the size of our textile industry do comes as a help. So we had some of the vendors in Surat who had all kinds of cloths. So they had actually supplied us with the fabric. So that's one of the Riddhi Siddhi Prints Private Limited. I don't know how would they manage to have such huge quantity of, say, fabrics available with them. So they could deliver us in time. Planning of in-house production started, and then the fabric received from the suppliers. This happened. We also had to outsource this fabric to various other vendors who would do the small tidbits around the fabric so that we can come up with the on-time delivery and the actual manufacturing of the flag happens. We have some photographs of the stage 2, which is the planning and the capacity building. You see that this was the stage where we started off with. We didn't have this kind of a manufacturing setup. So we had to have these tables set up from the very scratch in a company which is into a large scale, say, textile manufacturer. So here we are with such setup. We had to start off this manufacturing process. This is all the fabrics which are coming in. And then finally, we have to see that, say, the flags are in right, say, the Ashok Chakra is in right place, because the fabric was completely coming haywire, the way that this fabric manufacturer had supplied us. So finally, we started to, say, work with our team. Next. Final stage was, the stage 3 was the execution. The execution part was the manpower allocation and the infrastructure build-up. The very first thing which our garment division started doing is that arranging manpower. We do have the assistance of a lot of contractual workers. But what we actually wanted is that how will we able to complete this task within 10 days? we were not wanting to give them any kind of an overtime or incentive, so-called the production incentive, to get work done. So we were not engaging them in the commercial contract. We were wanting them to enter into a psychological contract with us, that given an opportunity and a target and a goal, are you willing to come up and help us in delivering it? And it's a national call. So that's where we could find that with a lot of communication with our people, we could convince them that yes, we can do it. And how these wonderful things actually transformed, you can see it in the subsequent slides. So we had this execution happening. You would see that, say, day and night, we have to actually engage our people. The contractual workers had to be brought in. And this started this entire process of manufacturing flags. The dispatch happened. The first one we could remember was to the eastern state of Assam, which is now a BJP-ruled state. I don't know what was the reason that, say, the first dispatch happened from there. They were the one to take the flags first. So somehow, what happened is, we were seeing certain unique things unfolding. We have been working with teams, but we saw that, say, this 28 odd teams working day in, day out, without any kind of an incentives, 24/7, was something which we thought was very, very unique. And how it actually transformed this entire manufacturing process was something, an eye-opener for all of us. Next. This is the day one we started off with, the average rate of production of ours. This is in the number of pieces of the flags that you can see. Day 3, day 7, and day 10, we have been actually monitoring, let's say, how people are coming up to the expectations of what the management wants. What we could also see, that the average output per employee, how it got increased from day 1 to day 10. That means each employee engaged in the flag manufacturing was actually manufacturing 1,067 flags on the day 10. While they started, it was around 103 flags. They have also, within the 10 days, developed the skill sets to manufacture it as per the requirement. So this has been the trend. Now the rejection percentage you can see in this slide. In day 1, they were having 63% rejection percentage, which came down to 6% rejection percentage while we were manufacturing it in the day 10. Flag dispatch quantity to the customers, you would see that's the state government, around 81 lakh flags were sent to the state government. Government institutions, which is large public sector institutions also were there, 44 lakh flags. And then we have other private parties where we could dispatch around 23 lakh flags. In all, we could supply 1.48 crore flags, while we were told, please try it out if you can manufacture around 1 crore flag. So this is what the real teamwork that we could see without any kind of an commercial contract with my employees. Next. Now, why I thought that, say, I should tell this story before this August gathering is that we have been working with teams, always. But we saw that, say, this psychological contract had some kind of an innovation. I would say that, say, these are few statements which I wanted to make, is that every company wants some innovation to be done. And every company is looking forward to having some employee collaboration. But somehow, it's very difficult to accomplish that. If you have got a cause or a goal in sight, and if you can instill a sense of pride in the work that they do, this has been my observation, that people come up to the expectation and can do wonders for you. And this is where we thought that, say, we have been able to achieve that. And when I say we, I give a lot of credit to my HR team. This is where the HR actually delivered. Because HR has always been facilitating the process of manufacturing. But this time around, I could see all my HR team members in the plant spending the entire day and night in the shop floor, because they were bringing in the people, they were motivating them, supplying them with the food, and also seeing that, say, whether they can come up with the expectations, how you can produce more and more with lesser rejections. Next. So I would say the project Tiranga, what we learned and what we did as an HR team. HR demonstrated its own value in the organization by positively influencing the employee teamwork and engaging employees to the commercial contract, not a psychological contract, but through employee commitment where there was no OT, no performance incentive. HR also showcased this initiative within the company. We actually tried to market this within the company, that this is a very unique case study which happened in our organization, wherein we were more efficient, we could showcase the team can be organized with clear purpose and goals. We could also show that we could measure the employees' productivity within a very short span of time. We could resolve the bottlenecks which happened in this process of manufacturing. We could build a communication, and we could be very effective in our communication. We could build a stronger employee relationship wherein we can appreciate and emphasize on the interpersonal skills which lead to the morale and motivation of our employees. We could also instill a sense of pride in our people for a greater cause or a larger purpose. We could also celebrate the success of our team with our team. So this is what the HR could do. Next, HR also did facilitate this collaborative environment through demonstration of appreciation and praise. And here I'm bringing the HR concept of an innovative HR practice of peer-to-peer recognition. What we could see is that each individual's complimenting to the other individual within the team, trying to complement the weakness and the strengths of each other, and trying to multitask in a way wherein, say, he can support another individual, which hardly happens in a team working. So we could see that, say, we could build trust with our employees, we could improve the job satisfaction, we could boost the retention and the lower employee turnover, because this is what subsequently we have been observing. So we could help fill the skill gap, because everyone was not skillful over there, but they complemented each other. We could enhance the overall morale and motivation of our productivity and efficiency in the setup. We could align the workers with their behavior and the company values which we have. And finally, create a happy space and a happy culture within the organization. So I think this was our learning, and I believe that, say, you must have also found something similar happening in your own respective organizations whenever we work with the team. So these are just photographs celebrating the success with all of our employees. While India celebrated the Independence Day with the national flags, and each one of you must have got one of the flags which must have come from our factories. But somehow, we celebrated this entire event within the organization with our people. And by the way, while we celebrated by hoisting the national flag in our factory premises of Silvassa and Vapi, this time it was a change. Unlike every year when the head of the unit would hoist the flag, we gave the opportunity to our employee, one of the contractual workers, to actually hoist the flag. So this was giving them a platform that you are so important to us, and this is how we recognize your contribution. So this is where we thought of sharing these photographs with you. And I feel a lot of pride in saying that, say, in my long years of HR experiences, working in various organizations, this was something unique, which I will always cherish all my life. Next. So I have an audio video of presentations also, so I think you will enjoy that.